out here once again. We're preaching. We just got through doing a courthouse. We're here in Rowan County. This is another courthouse that we like to come to in our courthouse ministry. But right now we're on a busy street corner here in downtown. As you can see, got the street behind of us. It's probably pretty loud, so I'm trying to talk so you can hear me. But busy street corner. Not a lot going on, just a lot of cars. Nobody on the sidewalk. It's an empty sidewalk here. So in this video, what I want to ask, the question I want to ask is the topic of this video is, are these empty street corners effective? And I word it like that for this reason. There's a lot of times people nowadays as preachers and Christians who go out and witness to people, they feel like we need to have a big event in order to get our message across. Well, if you want to reach somebody, you need to have, you need to have a big event. You need to have a lot going on. These empty street corners are not working because there's nobody there, so they say. So the question is it really effective? Does it really work? Are people actually hearing what we have to say when we're just preaching to cars? They say, oh, you're just preaching to cars. Well, that's stoplight ministry within itself. We preach to those at this light, and when their light turns green and this one stops, we preach to them, and we go back, then back, and you give them the same, gospel message. You can repeat your message. Stoplight preaching. But does it work? Is it effective? Where's the fruit? And so I want to answer that question for those of you who may be wondering in today's video. And I answer it with this right here. Last night we were at our street corner that we're usually at, preaching in our own hometown, holding up our signs. We had our megaphones out preaching. As we got through preaching, we rolled up our banners, and this couple walks up to us, and they wanted to pray with us, and they wanted us to pray for them. And we actually were able to exchange phone numbers, and now they want to join us on the weekends and stand with us just in support of what we're doing. They were encouraged to the point that they said, we do a little bit of witnessing, but man, we really love the way you guys do it. Could we meet up with you and stand in support of you? And I said, well, how did you hear about us? They said, we saw your signs from down the street, and we heard you preaching, and we wanted to stop and see what you were all about. Now, no foot traffic, just cars. But what you need to remember is there are people in those cars. And those people are seeing your signs and reading them. They're reading your shirts. They see you holding up the Bible. They hear you preaching the gospel. And so those people have to decide what they're going to do with your message. And so when they saw the signs, it encouraged them to stop. And now they want to help us. They want to support us out there in our ministry. All right, so that's just one example. This morning, we come up here. Now we're in Rowan County. We're preaching at a courthouse, just finished up. There's a man that's down the street. He passed by. He hears the preaching. He saw a sign from the distance. Once again, signs are effective. But he sees the signs that we're holding up. Me, my brother Abe, I got my other brother behind the camera. And so he gets out of his work truck and he listens, and he sits back from a distance and he's listening. Then he moves up a little closer, until I actually get to have a one-on-one conversation with him, as you see now in this clip. And I got to pray with him. We opened up the Bible and we're sitting there reading. And he really opens up and he says, man, I'm just struggling with a lot of things. I can't find a good church to go to. I've got people that want to do stuff, but I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to say. We need some help. We need somebody to, who's been in it for a while, who knows the word to teach us. And he said, I'd love to do what you guys are doing. I love this ministry, these signs, the shirts, how bold you guys are. I'd love to get involved. How can I help? Where can I meet you guys at? Once again, we exchanged phone numbers, and now he's wanting to start going out with us on the weekends and hold Bible studies. Now I'm looking and saying this, of course, we never know how it'll all work out. But we are able to engage with these people and have these conversations with people. And the reason why is because we are being faithful to what God has called us to do. And God has called us to come these street corners and preach His word. And even though it's dead, you know, to what you see to the eye, no foot traffic, just cars. Even though there's not a lot of people, even though it's not a large event, it's still fruitful. And so I encourage you out there today, if you live in a small town, if you live where you just have busy street corners, don't feel like you have to wait for once or twice a year to go to New Year's or go to a big Mardi Gras. Or I'm just using these as an example because this is what a lot of preachers look for. Don't feel like that these things work. They are effective. We've done these for many years. They work, but it's not all that's out there. You cannot neglect your hometown. You cannot neglect being faithful to what God has given you and the place that He's put you in. And so be thankful for where God has you and understand that you're there for a reason. And yes, these street corners are effective. They do work. They are fruitful. You just have to be faithful and obey the calling that God has given you. And don't be discouraged by what people say because they don't understand. They say, oh, there's nobody out there. Well, you don't see what I see. You don't understand. You don't hear the conversations. You don't see the prayer that takes place. God is moving in these small towns. And so I hope this video helps you and encourages you to open up your eyes to a few things to say, man, I could really be doing a lot more in my hometown and spreading that net and getting the gospel out in more places. And so that's what we're doing here today. That's what I wanted to come to you in this video and say. I'm just thankful that God has allowed me to have my brothers here with me to where we can get out and share His word and try to reach people, you know, and tell people about Jesus. So I hope this video helps you out. I hope it encourages you to think about a few things, and we're going to keep moving. God bless you guys.